This is being recorded to the cloud. It is week 1 of the spring of 2024. And I've been doing email to people all day and just saying, I should CC somebody and get the whole class in it for the fall of 2024. I'm 6 months ahead of myself. It's just the spring of 2024. So literally, I work on a schedule where I really don't know what month it is, what season it is, what time of year it is, what day it is, I just want to get stuff done and do good things. I don't care what day, what time, you can call me anytime. My phone number is 812-322-CURT, C-U-R-T, 812-322-2878. But do text me before you do, if you can. My hours are usually from 10 in the morning till 3 in the morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, except when I'm out having fun with Lena and Alicia at Lenny's, or Jill might join in as well. They're my 3 visiting scholars this year. Jill from Taiwan, Lena and Alicia from mainland China. And it's great to have them with us. We'll have a 4th one joining us in a couple of weeks from Korea, which will be great to have her as well. Sung-hee Yo will be joining us. And Amelia from Japan's waiting for me to admit her in. And I guess that means that, Bo, I've got to make you a co-host so you can see all the people trying to get into this class. So, Bo, you're now a co-host. And Amelia, sorry you were waiting in the wait room. You didn't. Amelia actually has the notable distinction in this class. She was the first one, and now she's still waiting to get in. She's still joining. So I better not say until she gets here what she's the first one in. But Esther and Christy and Elise and Thompson and everyone else, Jennifer, good to have you back again. MJ, I'm missing a couple. Emily, great to have you back as well. So yeah, it's great to have everyone. And Amelia must have a bad connection from Japan. Of course, they've had earthquakes and airline crashes and all. No doubt, computers are crashing as well. I was in Japan with Amelia a month ago. We had a good time in Western Japan. And she's one of the students I think, in her EDD program. Now, raise your hands if you're in the EDD program, online doctorate program. Got 3 people. How many of you are in the online master's program? 1, 2. Christy, you're in the doctoral program, right? EDD, because you're my advisee.
Yes, I was delayed. I'm trying to tame the natives. I'm making dinner, so
Gotcha.
I'm just slow on the move.
Well, I'll send you Oliver up there. You can have one more native.
Okay.
She's way up yonder, up near where I'm from originally. I'm from Wisconsin. She's in Michigan. I almost said Minnesota, from Michigan. Same thing, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, same voices, same accents, same schools, same buildings, same shopping malls. It's just the same 3-bedroom brick homes in the 1950s everyone grew up in. It's just all same. So where was I? Bo, what was I saying? I've lost it. So this should be an interesting class because I've not read 95 to 98% of the articles in this class. Normally, I only assign articles I've read. And so it's going to be a different kind of thing. But the difference is, in the old version, everything I read got into the syllabus. It was 114 pages last time, okay? And it's a lot of tidbits, which means news. Most of that was news articles, which I think news articles are important to get you to see that the content of this class is alive and well in every aspect of your lives. And if you're not aware of it, the second task or assignment in here hopefully will make you aware of that, because I'm asking you to read news and magazine and what I call tidbits in the news, and make sense of them. Read them for enjoyment. So I'm going to have the second, which is really the first main task of the midterm task, is to read for enjoyment short articles. And I used to have people read 100 of these magazine and tidbits. I'm asking you to do the same, but at midterm time, I'm asking you to rate the top 50 that you've read. These could be the Chronicle of Higher Education, could be the Washington Post, could be the BBC, could be CNN, could be a blog post from somebody, could be all sorts of other things. And it could be longer reports. Sometimes it could be executive summaries of a long report from somewhere, that maybe an education of the future somewhere, or the U.S. Department of Ed comes out with a new report on educational technology in schools. You might read the executive summary and call that a one-page summary, and that would be a tidbit. Okay, so it doesn't just have to be magazine and newspaper articles. It could be just things could appear anywhere with technology in them. I was interviewed last year and the year before by a couple of different news sources, and which for older people who are over 65 or over 60, to get them to get thinking about re-educated. I'm blanking on it right now, but anyways, so you have total control. Instead of me listing pages and pages and pages of tidbits for you to pick from, and a lot of those tidbits might be the announcement. So a lot of this course comes from 20 years ago, right now would be 23, when the president of MIT announced that all education should be free. And he had a one-page press release on this and then a follow-up. That's one of the tidbits, one of the primary tidbits in the old syllabus. I call it the monster syllabus because it's really, really long. So in the old way I approached the course, I would list a whole bunch of research articles, maybe 5, maybe 8, maybe 10. Everyone reads 3 to 5 of them a week. And then I had a list of tidbits, extra stuff. And I'll show you, I can pull it up on sharing. I can share my screen. And all sorts of news articles. And then maybe some technologies, some educational technologies and so forth that you could explore. So when you see the word emerging learning technologies, many of you think, well, this is a class, I'm going to learn how to use different technologies. Well, you can. You could do every single assignment and not learn a single technology. It's up to you. We may have a week we're going to teach you some of the technologies, some of the new things that are out there, some things you might want to use. You might have seen Miro on TV or Canva or something. Okay, we can maybe have a session on those. But this is not at a 600 level at IU is not meant to be a hands-on applied. We're going to get you into it's a doctoral course, a doctoral seminar course. This started as a doctoral seminar that was split between EdPsych and IST. I was in EdPsych when I came to IU in 1992. So it was split between the two. It was I don't know how they say, co-designated. You could take it for either credit, IST or EdPsych. It was called Interactive Technologies for Learning and Collaboration. And it was all research, what the research is on online collaboration. So it wasn't directly teaching, but I built tools to do my dissertation to get kids to think about their writing creatively and critically in a keystroke mapping tool. I was really interested in tools for thinking. And so I was, showing different ones like that. But this is not a course where I'm going to teach you to learn the specific technologies that you can use to do instructional design. If that's the reason you sign up, you should probably drop and take a different course. However, over time, this is kind of ebbed and flowed. I've added more applied kinds of things. So you'll see a couple tasks in here, which will be doing a tool review, a technology tool review, or some kind of application. You could do a YouTube video for your final. You could write a wiki book chapter for one of your final. You could do a press book, maybe with other people in the class as one of the finals. So you can be using technologies to do your assignments, but this is not a course in teaching you specific technologies. That would be a 500 or 400 or 300 level kind of course. So I just wanted to clarify that on the front end here. There's more to clarify. In 1989, I was hired by Virginia University after I graduated from UW-Madison to go into EdPsych there. And my first day on campus before school started, I met a guy named Dr. Michael Reed. And Mike was big in writing technologies. My dissertation was computers and writing is thinking, and keystroke mapping and creativity. Mike was really interested in my dissertation. And so we started collaborating here and there. We did a special issue of a journal the journal was Computers in the Schools, Computers and Human Behavior, which became a book on writing and technology in the early 1990s. But Mike, at the end of my first semester, said, Curt, there's a special summer institute on AI in education. 1990, it was 1990, it was the end of my first year there. I started 89, it was 1990. June of 1990, we went to San Diego and took a seminar with Dr. Chris Deedy from Harvard on AI in education. And we created this class after that class ended. Well, Dr. Chris Deedy, I read in graduate school. He's a futurist, and he wrote about AI in education. He wrote about the next version of desktop computing, all long articles, really bloody long articles. Well, he's now my podcast partner of all things. Here we are, 30 some years later. He's a research professor at Harvard now. He's got a $20 million AI grant right now, in fact. Okay, so he came in last semester. If you took my R622 class on learning environment design, he was a guest in my class last semester. Well, we took his seminars week, whatever it was called, institute from AERA, the American Educational Research Association. It doesn't do technology. AERA is not good with technology. They don't support it well, but they did this institute. We took it, and this class came from that. And so Mike and I left West Virginia in 92, and Mike left a few years later, went to NYU, New York University, almost came to Indiana, came really close. I was hoping he would come and join me here. But all his luggage was lost and the plane lost it, and he had to wear the same clothes for every day he was interviewing, and the interview just didn't go well, and he didn't get the job. And he was one of the most prolific people I've ever met. Mike has since deceased, but you can look him up. I did a blog post on Dr. Reed. Look at Traveling Edman blog, Michael Reed, and read about him if you want. He was really good with supporting his students. He was one of the best mentors ever. He's a military background. He was in the service in Germany, wrote a novel about his experience in the military, and I bought it online, and it happened to come in the mail, and it had his signature on the book. So I actually have a signed copy from him. Anyways, that's a long and short story of saying that this course has a history, and every 5 or 6 years, the course goes through a transformation. And this semester, it's a transformation again, because I've never taught it quite this way before in using special journal issues. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to using special journal issues. I'll give you some advantages, then I'll give you some disadvantages. The advantage of using special journal issues is it's more focused. We'll be more focused this semester on each issue every week of the semester. We won't wander a lot all about. The second thing is it's more current. These special issues, all 15 weeks, are from the pandemic starting in 2020 to today. There are a couple extra ones that I've added in that are possible if you want to replace one of the ones I've assigned that are a couple years old. It might be 2019 or 2017, but nothing is ancient. But in the world of technology and learning technologies, I've been teaching this class for this long, I've learned that anything older than a month is considered too old for someone to read. So please, bear with me a little bit. If I've assigned something that's older than a month, I realize that there could be a ChatGPT, a tool takes off next month, and everyone's going to be focused on that tool and nothing else. And that's okay. But statistics professors don't have to worry about this. They can use their lecture notes from 30 years ago. But people who teach emerging learning technologies, the students hold us to the fire and say, it's got to be current. So the advantage of these special issues is they're pretty current. The third thing about using special issues is it could become kind of something you can kind of form a community around and talk about and have a language and remind each other about a certain special issue that we had. And we can invite in authors and the editors of the special issues to this class. I've invited 2 already. One week we're going to have someone from Hong Kong and China. Another week we're going to have someone from Australia who worked in Fiji, and someone from India. They've edited a special issue. But we'll get more next week, and maybe even this week, we'll have Vanessa Denon pop in, who did 2 special issues with me. She's at Florida State. But she's probably coming in week 3 to talk about things. So you've all got a copy of the syllabus. I use a 2+2 plan in my syllabi normally. That means 2 assignments are due at the midterm and 2 assignments are due at the end. I also have a 2-day grace period in this class for all assignments. If you took my class last semester, I might have a 4-day. I change the grace periods every semester. So don't rely on what I did last year or what I did last semester. And I might change it in the middle of the semester. I might give you extra days. If Jennifer's really nice to me and answers my questions and she says, Dr. Bonk, we need another day, I'll give you another day or two or whatever. So if she smiles a lot, maybe some more extra days. But I do want you turning in things in Canvas. If you come to my office and slide on my door, that's okay. But I really, if we meet in person, if you hand in a physical something to me physically, staple it so I don't lose things. Knowledge isn't connected unless it's stapled. But online, I'll print it out, I'll staple it, I'll read everything, I write on everything, I'll scan it, and I send it back. I do not annotate on the papers electronically. I write and my handwriting's awful, but I print as best I can. But I like to print everyone's out. I like to read them wherever I am in the world, and then I scan back and I'll send them back to you. So that's how I kind of operate on things. If you're late, and by the way, Canvas is stupid. The tool, it'll say you're late, but I have a 2-day grace period, and it doesn't know that. It's a technology. It doesn't know I gave you 3-day grace. So it will say you're late, but you're not late. Don't worry about what Canvas says. Sometimes don't worry about what the gradebook says in Canvas, because oftentimes they don't account for bonus points and other things. And so the grade books are stupid. The Canvas is stupid. Just don't get so paranoid by looking at Canvas. Ask me a question. If you're worried about your grades, if you're worried about due dates, send it to me. Don't trust the technology. Even this course on technology. Bo is laughing. Okay, all right. So, but he knows what I mean here. So that's another thing to consider. So if you are late, if you're a few days late, don't just put it up in Canvas and Dropbox. Send it to me on an email as well if you're a few days late. Because the Canvas is stupid, because when I go to print all your papers out, it will download all the papers, but it doesn't time date stamp anything. And so if anyone's a couple days late, I have to print them all out again with and figure out who's I'm missing. It gets really confusing. With the old system at IU, on what called On Course, or what I called No Course or On Curse, it was better than Canvas because it would time date stamp when everyone submitted. Okay. But Canvas was built by young people at Brigham Young University who just got their computer science degrees, and they're very good at technologies, very savvy, but they build all sorts of stuff. But they build stuff for undergraduate courses. They don't think about graduate courses, okay? We might give a grace period to. They think about undergrads where you give no grace periods to people, and you take common exams and large lecture halls, so they have speed grading and also. But graduate courses are a totally different kind of animal. I'm going off on some tangents here, but you can see I'm not Canvas's #1 fan. I like Canvas, but I think there'll be better tools to come. We're in the first generation of all these things. I've been teaching with online technologies since I taught blended in 1993. I taught my first fully online class in 1997. So I've got 2 books with 100 activities on how to teach online. One of them's free. It's called Adding Tech Variety. It's in Chinese and English. You can download it right now at techvariety.com. It's been downloaded 250,000 times before the counter broke 10 years ago. So it's been downloaded a lot. It's called Adding Tech Variety. There's a second book that's called Empowering Online Learning, which has my R2D2 model: read, reflect, display, and do. Another 100 activities in this book, and has 25 on each of read, reflect, display, and do. So there are 2 models, 2 frameworks. The Tech Variety has my motivation framework: tone, encouragement, curiosity, variety, autonomy, relevance, tension, interactivity, engagement, blah, 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 and yielding products. So each book has 100. This one is free. Now, this book just came out with a new version, a short one, last year. And so if you go to my homepage, you can download both this book, actually you can get right off my homepage, and the new version, which has a free class on how to motivate online. My colleague Elaine Coe in New Zealand and I wrote this book. My colleague Kao Zhang at Wayne State and I wrote this one. And actually, so there are 2 free books, and my newest special issue is also up on my website, And that will read in week 3 in this class. And that's free off my home page. It has a nice fancy book cover we created. So it looks like a book, even though it's a special issue. It's a special issue on systematic research and online learning. The first 2 weeks, we're going to read from ETR&D special issue from a few years ago, from 2020, systematic reviews of research on emerging technologies. It makes sense to start with that one. I edited that with Florence Martin and Vanessa Denon, and that's why Vanessa may pop in here at some point and just to talk about the 2 special issues that we've done. So anyways, I've done these more applied kind of books. Each of these books have 100 activities for teaching online, one with a motivational framework, one with maybe an instructional design framework, although some call it a learning style framework. I don't believe in learning styles. I think about this as a way to think about diverse learners of the world, and it's a problem-solving wheel in effect. So that's that. Back in the day, I don't think Bo ever saw this. So I forgot the oldest book. One of the oldest books I did was called Electronic Collaborators. I had a whole bunch of students when I started at IU wanting to do research on the web, before the web was just starting, on the internet, and how people interact online and online conversation and discussion and all that stuff. And we used Vygotskian's zone of proximal development and scaffolded learning as a framework for all the research we did. And we thought we'd be doing a special issue of a journal. Then we decided to do a book because the journal wouldn't take just IU papers. So we did a book with Lawrence Erlbaum called Electronic Collaborators. My editor thought it was a Nazi spy novel. And so that's a true story, actually. She didn't like the title. But it was on learner-centered technologies for literacy, apprenticeship, and discourse. It had a picture of the IU School of Ed on the cover. My kids were on the book, actually. Interactions, we did collaborations with students in Finland back in the 1990s. That was on the book. So that came out in 98. This book, Bo has never seen. None of you have ever seen. I've never talked about this book much in a long time. Psychology Applied to Teaching. This is the first undergrad psychology book for teacher education students. It was a first kind of textbook handbook. It was written by a guy named Robert Beeler. And Beeler went crazy in an insane asylum. And there was a grad student who graduated from IU named Jack Stillman, and he was using the book at Southern Illinois University. And Jack wrote a critique of this book. And the editors of the book wrote him back and said, how would you like to be an author of the book and help us refine it? Because the editor went crazy, literally went crazy. And Jack said yes. And about 10 years later, Jack wrote to IU, to the Department of Ed Psych, and asked if there was someone who could help him with adding technology to every chapter of the book. And they told him to talk to me. So I was asked first, my sabbatical in 1998, 99, was adding technology into every chapter of this book on classroom management and motivation, you name it. And the parts that I added were color-coded in blue. And so it was the first book, an undergrad teacher ed book, that had technology integrated in every chapter. And that came out in 2000. In 2006, I had a former student and I wrote edited the handbook of blended learning. We have chapters in corporate training and higher ed and 39 chapters from all around the world, countries around the world. Everyone had a different model of blended learning. This is the most cited thing I've ever done. It's called the Handbook of Blended Learning, Global Perspectives, Local Designs. And I'm happy to share chapters with you. I've got, but it's old. I mean, but it's still relevant because hybrid learning, blended learning, or mixed learning is very popular since the pandemic. And so Charles Graham and he's a former student of IST. He's a Brigham Young research dean now. He's pretty high up the food chain. We did that book. In 2009 or 2008, I did a conference in Vegas called eLearn. And the people we brought in for a pre-conference session were all from Asia, parts of Asia, like China, Taiwan, India, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, if I didn't say it. And so we had everyone who did a presentation write a chapter in this little book called A Special Passage Through E-Learning in Asia. That came out in 2009. We are creating a conference called Global Learn after this. And we held Global Learn in Melbourne and in Penang, Malaysia. And we're revisiting where we're gonna hold it next. Anyways, Special Passage through E-Learning in Asia in 2009. At that time, the same time this book came out, The World is Open, How Web Technology is Revolutionizing Education, which is the most cited book. It's been translated Chinese and Arabic and other things. And you may have heard of that one. So that's kind of the big thing that I've done in my life. That was a killer. I spent my next sabbatical writing this. I wrote 140,000 words and it was only half done. Then the editor cut half the book. It's this thick. It was supposed to be, it was this much more. So that's that. And after that, we started doing MOOCs research. I've got 3 books on MOOCs and open education, massive open online classes, MOOCs and open ed in the global South, and MOOCs and open ed around the world. This class, the past 5 times I've taught it, has all been about MOOCs, or at least 4 or 5 weeks have been on MOOCs, not this semester. So MOOCs and open ed is where I'm situated at, a lot of my research. But recently I've migrated over into looking at AI, in particular looking at self-directed learning with AI, language learning. So my team is particularly looking at YouTubers who teach languages online using ChatGPT. My particular interest is self-directed learning. And so I've developed a scale or a checklist on self-directed learning. I've written a couple of papers on my past decade doing self-directed learning research, whether it's Duolingo research, which you may, how many have heard of Duolingo, right? How many have used Duolingo? Yeah, so yeah, I've got 2 studies. Both are out online first with Shishi Lee, my doctoral student. So that's what I was working on. We were doing research in Nepal on how kids were using MOOCs during COVID and learning English and other kinds of things. That was kind of interesting. But we were also doing MOOCs research looking at personalization, cultural sensitivity, instructional design, motivation of MOOC instructors. Trying to think of some of the other things that we looked at. We have a dozen or 2 dozen studies on MOOCs, self-directed learning of students and of instructors in the MOOCs area. More recently, last year, Dr. Pawan in IST and I and a couple others have a book, Engaging Online Language Learners from TESOL Press. And then Mena Ju, my recent advisee who graduated 5 years ago and is at Wayne State, we wrote or edited Transformative Teaching Around the World, Stories of Cultural Impact, Technology Integration, Innovative Pedagogy, which got an award this year at AECT 3 months ago. So this is the special issue we're starting with in this class. It's ETR&D, EdTech Research and Development, Special Issue, Systematic Review of the Research on Learning Environments and Technologies. So this is where we're starting. All those other books I showed you, we're not reading any of them, a single thing from any of them, okay? But I wanted to show you that's where my focus has been and where I might lecture from those or present from those. If you have an interest in any of the things I talked about briefly, like MOOCs and like open education, you want me to do a presentation, I'm happy to. I've got lots of things I could talk about. I probably will anyways at some point. I think week 11, somewhere around, maybe it's April 1st, we have 2 special issues on open education. One that just came out in a journal called Distance Education. And the editor is a friend of mine. His name is Sam Naidu. He was from Fiji, as I said. He's actually from Sri Lanka, worked in Fiji, is now living in Australia, in Melbourne. Fascinating guy. We'll bring him in. We'll bring another guy named Ramesh Sharma from India. They know each other. They're both come in the same day. I'll have to look at the syllabus, but anyways, Bo knows last semester, I had nobody lined up to be a guest in my class the week before class, and then we had just the most fantastic time in the fall. This semester, we will not have guests every week. I'll be lecturing in and out. I'm gonna do partly lecturing. I'm gonna bring in some editors. I'm gonna bring in former students. I'm gonna have you present things. I'm going to have the discussion leaders come in with what they've learned from the previous week and share what they've learned. I'm going to have more breakouts in here this semester, more interaction and so forth. So I've been blabbing on and so forth. Where should I go next? So what I'd like to do for the next 20 minutes is talk about the syllabus. And then I'd like to maybe go into breakout rooms and have Bo have half the breakout room and have me have the other half and have you ask personal questions of us. And then have us come back. And I'm going to do a big presentation on the state of learning technology, I think. And those of you who were in 622, I've got some of the stuff from 622 last semester. And if you're bored with hearing, and it's updated, it's a lot of new stuff, you can just leave. You just go, get dinner or whatever. And those who weren't in 622 might want to stay. You don't have to stay. Again, synchronous is optional. I cannot require you to be here. So this is being recorded, and I will make this available in Canvas through Kaltura media files. And at the end of the semester, I'll try and make a playlist of every week. And so you have that to take with you of all the sessions that we have. I'm going to stop before I start going through the syllabus and just say, we have any questions so far? Amelia, Amelia is a special thing. Not only did I meet with Amelia last month in Japan, we had a great time in Japan, but she had the courage. Do you know what you did last month, Amelia? Can you tell them?
No, I don't.
Oh,
The courage to what? Now I'm nervous.
She had the courage to ask me, when is the syllabus going to be ready?
I did. But the Japanese academic year is April to April. So I'm kind of winding down now where everyone else is right in the midst of stuff. So today I'm in the classroom for my last class of the semester.
Hey,
so
give her a round.
That syllabus. Yay. This is how everyone else feels in May or June or whatever.
And you're in Kyoto, so people can visit you in Kyoto. Hey, so
yes, please do. We have a good time. Dr. Bonk was here. I hope you can get another conference on this continent or over here somewhere. It's real fun.
So I was in Western Japan. I was in Kyoto a decade ago. It's a beautiful place. But what I told Amelia, maybe she remembers, I said, we're going to start with the special issues. And we'll spend the first 3 weeks on the 2 special issues that I did. So just start with that. And so basically last 2 years ago, not last semester, 2 years ago, when I last taught the course, we had this 114-page syllabus, and we had a short syllabus that the students created, an alternative syllabus. But they were shy. The students were shy. And so I created the first 2 weeks with using this. So I did this in the alternative syllabus. We started with this last time. So I thought that was a good idea. So instead of just 1 special issue, we got 15 of them this semester, 14 of them, because we're gonna have this. This is the first 2 weeks. So if you don't want to read anything this week, you don't have to, but it'd be good if you read 3 articles out of here to 5, 3 to 5, and 3 articles to 5 the next week. And we'll do that every week. This is one of the longer special issues, this ETR&D one. Some are short, like 6 articles, and so you're going to be reading almost every one of them. Some of the one disadvantages of special issues, you might get bored. I do not know, because I've not done this before. You might get a little bored because they're all research, and I didn't get to hand pick them. I try to pick things that are a little more controversial or more seminal key pieces. So it's more hit and miss. What we're going to end up liking, I'll try and point out what you should read, what I might recommend you read, but I'm guessing a little bit too. So one of the disadvantages is we're going to be all discovering what's the good stuff and what maybe is not such a good stuff, okay? But, overall, I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. The other thing that it does, when you read books, like a lot of classes just rely on books, you have editors that make it look pretty and all that kind of stuff. Journals typically don't have someone making it look pretty, don't do good on cover design and stuff like that. But in week 3, I hired somebody to create a great cover and that kind of stuff. So, but again, there are disadvantages that you could, it's just another research study. But some of the research studies are like systematic reviews of all the research. A lot of them are going to be that way. There's so much happening in this field that we need people doing meta-analyses, like summaries of the research, or scoping reviews, seeing what the research is out there and what's not out there, where the gaps are, or systematic reviews of the research, the same kind of thing. Actually, Maina Ju will be with us in 2 weeks, and I think Vanessa Denon will come in 2 weeks, and they'll both talk about doing systematic reviews of the research with me. and with their research teams, and they'll discuss the advantages of that. Let me pause again for a second and see if there are questions so far. Bo, do you have a comment for everyone?
No. I'm excited to be here tonight, though. Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't say this because it's being recorded, but you know, the Bears still suck. He's a Chicago
I was
Bears
waiting for that.
He's a Chicago Bears football fan. I'm a Packers fan. Sorry, everybody, but the Bears didn't do so well yesterday. Bo's got what?
I cringed a little bit when you started talking about Wisconsin earlier.
Yeah. Bo's got tickets to every game. So if you want to have fun in life, visit Amelia in Kyoto, become friends with Bo, and he'll take you to a Bears game, you know, sometime. Become friends with Claudia. You can get down to Texas and go visit him down there in Dallas, you know. We've got, you know, Jill, go visit her in Taiwan. She'll be back there in a year, but unless she stays. So any comments or questions? I'm going to go through more of the syllabus, I think, with all of you here for a second. Oh, there is this. My friends at the Commonwealth of Learning produced this. It's the Smart Education Strategies for Teaching and Learning, a critical analytical framework and case studies. One of the options for the midterm, I think it's the midterm, not the final, is to analyze a report of some kind, like sometimes a whole country like Finland will have a report on educational technology. If you're from Finland, you might want to critique it or read it. If you're from Taiwan, they'll often have an e-learning report of the year, blah, blah, blah. So this is pretty good report on smart learning. It's the last week of the semesters on smart learning. And so I put a link to it in the syllabus under that particular option. So if you're looking for a task that you might want to do that I'm going to recommend, I think reading a report, doing an evaluation of it and a critique of it will get you some skills that you can, you know, talk about and utilize in a job interview later on. So I'd highly recommend that option. And it's the one that I put in there. There are many reports, I mean, thousands and thousands, but this one just happened to be on my desk, and the editor of it sent it to me, and I could bring him into this. He came into this class 2 years ago, in fact. His name is Sanjay Mishra from the Commonwealth of Learning in Vancouver. Okay, so you've seen what I did on the syllabus this time. On page 1, it's got all the point values. I made everything 60 points. Many of these were 70-point items. I squished it to make it simple to remember. Everything's gonna be 60 points. I've tried to reduce the number of pages that you have to write so that it's less than it was last time, so it can justify 60 points instead of 70 points. But if you're reading through the syllabus and you see a conflict, if you see something that doesn't make sense, if you see something that looks too arduous and difficult, let me know, because I may have made a mistake. I may have you know, need to lighten up a little bit on something in here. So, you know, if you're working with a partner, typically I'm asking you to write a longer reflection paper, not necessarily double, but typically a little bit longer, and it will say that in here. If you, how should I say? If you try not to turn in too much more than what's asked, because I got to read all of these, but people do a little bit longer. And if you want to sneak in extra stuff, make it an appendix. You know, you can always add more stuff on an appendix, and references are important. I think references are really important to show that you've been reading and documenting what you've done. We noticed that the president of Harvard just got fired, sort of, in effect, about referencing. It's become in the news, high profile. This is a course where you should be reading and learning a lot of what people are saying and doing in emerging technologies. And so references are important. Your thinking is important. And you'll notice a couple of the tasks, if you put a picture of your grandmother or your cat or dog at the end, I'll give you a bonus point. Okay, so if you're worried about points, put a picture of your grandmother at the end, or both grandmothers, you know, or grandfathers. So let's see here. So 2 things in the middle: tidbit, reflection. So I want you to read 50 short things and rank them from 1 to 50, or rate them, or categorize them, and then reflect on what you've learned. There are examples in Dropbox of prior student tidbit reflection papers. There are many. I put in like 10 or 20 examples. Now, some of those were from 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The news has moved on. So, but anyways, the examples should still hold. The other midterm, the other midterm is to either critique. So I've made it kind of focused midterms to either critique this special issue. Oh, sorry, I'm holding up the wrong one. ETR&D special issue, or my new one in online learning journal. So the first 3 weeks, we have this in the first 2 weeks and my new one in week 3. One of those two you'll be critiquing for your midterm. Now, you always have the option of sending me an email saying both of those I don't like. I want to read this, I want to critique a different special issue. You can always send me a note and say, oh, that'd be okay. But I at least kind of focused in on those two to kind of, so the first 3 weeks are kind of important because they're going to lead to your midterm assignment. Now, I also toyed with the idea of changing the due date from February 26th to March 2nd. I decided not to, because February 26th is a pretty long ways away right now, where it's almost 2 months. And so I think you'll probably be getting through with no problem because we'll have read all these before the end of January. So I have not changed anything there, but if people have a real preference, send me an email and I'd consider, giving another week, but yeah, we'll see. Now the other, so the final assignments, there are two. One is either to do a naturalistic study, a short interventional study, or just observe your own kids at home using technologies, or family members, or kids, wherever, or do that strategic plan report analysis, or do a technology tool review. There are 3 options there for one midterm, or one final assignment, I'm sorry. And the other final assignment, there are a lot of options. One of the options is to read or look at all the syllabi of all the prior class, R678 classes, and review them. That's one, to look at the topics and how they've changed in this course. Another option is to write a book, a press book, which IU has press books for free. You can create your own little mini book, not a lot of content necessarily in those books, and pretty easy to create, but it gets you to do something. Another option is to do a MOOC, take a massive open online class and do a review of that, or utilize open educational resources or open courseware and do a review of that. Another option is to write a wiki book chapter. Back in 2006 and 7 and 8, I was having all my students write a wiki book together as a class with students in Taiwan, mainland China, Beijing Normal, Open U of Malaysia, and Indiana State University in Terre Haute. We all worked together writing a book, a wiki book. So you've heard of Wikipedia? How many of you people have used Wikipedia in the past week? Okay, so Wikipedia also owns Wikibook. Okay, Wikipedia also owns Wiki News. Wikipedia also owns WikiQuote. The guy who built Wikipedia dropped out of Indiana University Business School. He was a PhD student to create Wikipedia. I bet you nobody knows that. I was in Saudi Arabia and met him in Riyadh when I was almost kidnapped 12 years ago in Saudi, and 2001? No, 2011. So it's 13 years ago now, February 2011. He was a keynote. His wife had just had a baby. He flew over on the plane to Riyadh and flew back. I got to meet him briefly. I was doing research on Wikipedia and Wikibooks, and he helped sponsor it. His name is Jimmy Wales. I was the 3rd day keynote, and they forgot about me. And so I had guys scamming me, trying to, extort money out of me and almost kidnap me. And it's a bad story. It's a real bad story. But be careful when you travel internationally anyhow. So I'm sorry. So you could write a wiki book chapter. And we've been doing this in this class for a long time. We have a wiki book on emerging learning technologies. It's explained in here in the syllabus on the second last page, I think, or the last page, very last page, page 18. Wiki book, online work. Wow. So a former student of IST, her name's Dr. Mimi Lee, had worked on that project with me. It was her and a whole bunch of other people. We did this wiki book. National Chiaodong University in Hsinchu, Taiwan, University of Houston, Beijing Normal University, and others. So anyways, that's one of the options for your final assignment. Historical topic analysis, take a MOOC. What are the other ones in here? Oh, video. Many people like creating a video of what they've learned or create a video about emerging technologies and then write a reflection paper on it. So I've got many examples in here you can click on in the syllabus. Another option in the final is analysis of issues and challenges in the field of learning technologies. So that's listed in here too. And then a usable class project. One of my students decided to create a glossary, a visual glossary, like linking with pictures and videos and all sorts of things. It was really creative. So I've had people do different usable products. Now, Bo, I forgot to do one thing. What is it, Bo?
Talk about the student-determined project.
That is, yeah. So student, you can decide on your own project and whatever you want to do, but you have to let Bo and I know what it is that you're planning to do. Maybe by the end of spring break, by mid-March, it'd be good to let us know so that you have some time to work on it and to get feedback from us. You could be in your work setting. You could work in a place where they need you to evaluate a product. They need some authentic work. The other thing that I forgot to mention is I'm doing something different this semester in the discussion forum. So instead of having everyone discuss in the discussion forums like last semester or most courses, I'm having two discussion forums. And the second discussion forum, I want you to get help from AI in your posts. So now, Bo, what do you think I should do? Should I make everyone post to both forums every week or pick a forum to post to?
I say pick one forum to post to.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Bo made a decision. I had not made that decision. Thank you, Bo. So you're to post in the Canvas discussion forums. There'll be one for just humans and one for humans plus AI. Okay. If you're the discussion leader, you've picked in the forums, they've just, the link just became available. So some of you haven't been in there yet, but I'm hopeful that you can use ChatGPT. There's also a tool called Chat PDF that analyzes PDFs. I really like Chat PDF. There's other tools out there like Dolly, which create images and so forth. What are some of the other tools, Bo? What are the other AI tools?
I've been messing around a lot with Microsoft's Copilot lately, which is pulling off ChatGPT's API. Let's see, Claude AI is another really good one.
Yeah. Claude 2 apparently is more logical.
Yeah.
Now, Copilot is a good point. I've been selected to pilot Copilot this semester. So Microsoft Copilot will show up on my computer all over. So I'll be sharing how that goes with all of you and may involve you, or I may involve Jill to help me do something since she's really technology savvy. We'll talk, Jill, about how we can use Copilot in here. Other things I forgot, Bo, anything else?
I don't think so right now.
Okay.
Covered most of it, yeah.
So you'll notice every week in here has a links. So let me show you this. Let me share my screen. That might be a good thing to do at this point. If I can find, we've got to look for all the windows that are available in here. Hang on. There we go. So if we in here on my, there. So one week we'll do role play and you'll be signing up for roles. It'll be later in the semester, report roles and reflector roles, warrior, slacker. Bo's the slacker usually, but emotional role, adventurer role. No, Bo's not a slacker. And so if you go to the syllabus and you click on Dropbox in here, you'll see in Dropbox all the articles for this class are in here if you scroll down a little bit. And I might have to hide my window to see things in here. I'm working off a PC here. Hang on. I want to hide this screen. Darn it. Okay. Let me try another way here. Hide floating panel. Okay, well, that didn't help me too much. There we go. So in here, come on, you'll be able to go to the articles, and every week is in here for the articles. So if you go to week 1, there are all the articles for week 1, and you can click on one, and there's the first article by my friend Tian Liu from Old Dominion University. So every week, you'll have every article in here. So if you go to, again, go to the articles, you scroll down. Some say 5A and 5B. That means there's 2 special issues for that week to pick from. So if you want precision learning in week 7, here are all the articles for that week. You click on that article. You can click to download each one by one. You can click them all and put a little X by on the side here to download all of them. So you'll have every single article. Bo and I and my advisee, Belle Lee, have been working real diligently the past couple of days. There we go. To work to have all these articles. That's why some of the things are just getting completed, because this took a long time to get all 200 and some articles in there. So they're all there available for you in Dropbox. And again, the midterm examples are here for the task number 2. And you can take a look at some of these examples of someone's tidbit reflections from a few years ago. They're all anonymous. They don't have the names on from anyone in here. So if you don't know what's expected, you can just go in here and take a look. Now, another thing you can do is go to the Padlet instructions, and you'll notice that some of us have been in here, MJ and Bo and Kennedy and Amelia and Esther. Thank you, Esther. And I think a couple more, Christy and Elise and Riza. Thank you, Riza. Let's see. If you consider the autotype of the word as an AI, I guess I was the first AI that I came across. It was the first AI that I came across. From the beginning of the last semester, I got familiar with ChatGPT. I usually got okay. All right, I'll read that later. Emmanuel, great to have you in the course, Emmanuel. So some of you have been in here. If you get a chance, Yushra has been in here. Good. I'll try and get in myself. What else do I want to show you? The monster syllabus. So this was the old syllabus. No, it's not the monster syllabus. That's the wrong link there. So let's do this. I can get in here to show you the monster syllabus. There we go. So this, we had weeks on open education, alternative reality learning, massive open online. Every week of the semester that you click on, come on, don't be afraid, would have articles, and then below the articles would have more readings, and below more readings would have interviews, and below that would be tidbits. And this is just 1 week of the course, okay? So if you're getting a little bit frightened, now at the end of the semester, students said that was too short. But at the beginning, people were petrified because every week had articles and it had tidbits and other things, and videos. Now, you can use this as a resource if you want, however you'd want to use it. It was more topically based syllabus. So you'll see in there that the weeks include wireless and mobile technologies, maker spaces, MOOCs, AR, VR, ebooks. There's more topics than this semester will be necessarily. More focused topics, AI and robotics at the end, personal digital assistants. There are advantages to that kind of, but the disadvantage, it was just too long to update that. And the students created an alternative syllabus. So you'll notice the alternative syllabus in here. And it had weeks on drones, computational thinking, many weeks on that apparently, weeks on adult education. So everyone, the students populated this, teacher education and technology integration, foreign language learning, virtual assistants and PDAs, digital play and tech toys. That student did her dissertation on that. Gamification, game-based learning, equity and belongingness in science education. Thank you, Tully. What else in here? Pros and cons of micro-learning, dark patterns and instructional designs, Nelson. Micro-credentials, digital badging. So you can see the students designed a pretty good syllabus, actually. That was the alternative syllabus to the class. What else do I want to go through? So if you're going through the syllabus, this is the current syllabus. You'll see that every week has a special issue, and it has a link to the special issue. Now, the problem is not all articles are free to download. So I've made it simple for you to, if you go to Dropbox, all the articles are there. You can just go in through this normal way. This is okay. If you know how to get your library access, IU will have access to all of them, but there's a couple extra steps involved in putting your password in and all that kind of stuff. And so, you can select the articles that you want to read. You can go, so again, you can go two different ways. You can just click on the link, or you can go to Dropbox and download all the articles and pick them that way. It's up to you how you want to go. Again, some weeks will have two different special issues like this one here. My friend Minjun Wang at San Diego State did an AR, augmented reality special issue. Everyone wants that, okay. And there'll always be well, not always. Typically, there's an introduction to the special issue. Sometimes there's a table of contents. Sometimes the entire issue is there to download. Most of the time, you have to download article by article. They don't let you download the whole thing. A couple of them will let you do the whole thing, not many. Ed Tech and Society will let you download the whole thing at once. And that's kind of nice. So, and some of these say open URL. Well, open URL means the whole issue. That I think it means it's free to download the whole thing. Because I'm at Indiana University, I get free access, and you should too, because you're all Indiana University students. You should all be getting free access like I just did here, okay? So that's another thing I just wanted to show. And what do we have here? So we've shown that already. We've shown that already. Okay, here. So in the syllabus itself, if we go back here and we go back to the syllabus, there'll be a link right here to sign up off the homepage. This is a sign up to lead discussion. So Emily has, Elise has, MG has, Christy has, Jennifer, is it Jeho Jung?
Yes, Jeho Jung. Jeho. That's right.
Are you from Seoul?
Yes.
Okay. I've been 8 times, I think, or 9. My son is from Seoul. I need to go back. So, and then Gina Jung Young, are you also from Korea? Jenna? Maybe Jenna's not with us here yet tonight. Okay. So, so you can see, you can put your name in, and then you have to hit the update after you type in. So type in the professor's last name into the password field near the top of the page. When you have finished entering your information, click update form. So you have to type my name up there after you type your name in here. If you make a mistake, let me know, and my assistant will delete or take care of you. As Emily kind of found out earlier today, we fixed it. We got it done. So you have all these, different names in here. You can see Elise, Kennedy, Jenna, Claudio, and so forth. So that's there. The goals and objectives are listed in here. The grading scale is listed. There's different books. I just showed you some of my books. Those are some of them there. The weeks of the semester are listed in there. So everything's pretty much near the beginning. You don't have to look to the end of the syllabus like normal. I mean, it's right near the beginning. You should be able to find almost everything. The advantage of special issue, it's a shorter syllabus. it's more sane. And then you get to the assignments in here, what I'm expecting you to do and learn. So let me stop sharing if I can figure out how to get my stop share. I took everything off in here, so okay. Okay, there we are. I'm going to click. Does everyone see everyone again? Did it stop sharing, Bo?
Yep.
Okay, there's so much on my screen. I was moving things around. I wasn't really sure. So any questions? Okay, since there are no questions, I'm going to stop the recording at this point and go to we're going to do some, so part one, stop the recording, week 1, R678.